Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday's Table Talks. I'm your host, Mantra Lotus, uh, founder of the Loose Woman Sanctuary, and
And I'm Tigra with Tiggy'd Productions.
we are here to discuss and enter into the new year with a wonderful topic about self-love.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
Happy New
I hope you
Year.
guys are ready because we're ready to do some complete manifestations and create wonderful, positive change in our lives.
Set the
And
tone for the rest of the year.
definitely.
Yes.
But before we do that, we have an announcement. I don't know if you guys knew, but I believe a lot of our followers on Instagram, we did end of the year giveaway. And within that giveaway, what was the
All the gifts.
yeah, all the gifts. So from business partners and other affiliated within the space of
Yes,
Love and Light.
we had a gift certificate to Love and Light Cuisine, a free class with Tiggy Pink. Loose Women Sanctuary is donating a lovely journal. Lit Life Creations is donating a mini candle. We have gifts from Kim's Detox and Herbs and Roots. Am I missing anybody? Somebody was doing
Anne's
jewelry.
Roots, right? Bitsy's is donated some beautiful earrings. So we're excited about that, right?
Yes.
And are we missing anyone else?
I don't know. I think we got everybody, if I recall.
Right. If we didn't, we apologize. So thank you to all the businesses who participated in this. This is a wonderful opportunity for us all and also a great gift to give for the new year.
Yes. So thank you to all of our followers who followed directions who entered the contest. So we put all the names of everyone who entered correctly. You had to follow everyone on the list. You had to like the post, and you got extra entries if you tag more friends.
Right.
So Zane, co-owner of Love and Light Cuisine, is going to come pick a name out of the box and let us know who won.
Oh.
Look at him sporting.
I
Look
know.
at your shirt.
Come on, Zane.
Zane, you're
All right.
beautiful.
And show off the shirt real quick.
Lovely.
Yes.
All right. Who is our winner?
The winner. Let's see. I'm not gonna look. Okay. Shuffle a bit. All right. I'll stop here. All right. And the winner is Chardonnay. Or
Yeah, Chardonnay. I think it's
Chardonnay?
like Chardonnay 821. So congratulations,
Chardonnay!
Congratulations! So Chardonnay, we will also send you a DM. So watch your inbox on Instagram, and you'll receive instructions on how to receive your presents.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
I hope
entering.
you're local so we can meet
She
you.
is.
Oh,
She is
awesome.
local.
Awesome. So maybe when you come in, we'll all get to meet you. So,
Yay!
yay. Congratulations, Chardonnay.
Awesome.
Yay.
Well, that was lovely.
Really,
So,
really.
way to kick off. Thank you, Zane.
Thank you,
so
Zane.
much.
Thank you, Zane.
Oh, wow. So, yes.
So, self-care. What is your definition of self-care?
Self-love. It's like, what is your definition of self-love? I mean, it's accepting yourself. I mean, not just loving yourself. I mean, like, what is loving yourself? Loving every aspect of you, accepting that you and no one else is perfect. So accepting yourself, flaws and all. Like getting out of the mind, being so critical. That's what we were talking about. That's what made us come up with this. What made me think of this topic, and we were talking about it because all of us, not all of us, but most women are our biggest critics. Not just women, but men too.
Right.
Men struggle with, things that they're, conscious about, self-conscious about. But Leah and I were talking, the other producer of this show, and it's like, we were just saying the other day, it's like, so just take me, for example, it's like, you'll look at your thighs like, oh my God, that's a fat, I just feel so fat. But it's like, you see other people and they could be much bigger than you and you don't see anything like you're like, oh my God, they're so beautiful, they're perfect, but you don't see that same beauty within yourself is what
Right.
I'm getting at.
Right.
So it's like, where does this stem from? Why are we so critical of ourselves? And I was thinking, like, back with me, for instance, like growing up, you know, those little nicknames people would give you, or even back on the schoolyard, the bullying, you know, you would be maybe criticized, oh, your nose is big, you have Mickey Mouse nose, you know, because it wasn't the, you know, the dainty little nose, or waterhead. Somebody called my aunt actually called me waterhead growing up.
Oh.
So I had a complex about my big forehead. So
Oh,
when
no.
Sade came out, I was like, oh, Sade, that's my girl. Like, oh, she's so beautiful.
You don't have a big forehead.
But I see a big forehead. So like when Sade came out with her hair to the back, I'm like, oh yes, it gave me a little confidence. Right? So that's, I feel, I know I'm on a tangent here, but that's why representation matters.
It does.
In everything, because you can look at someone that like you can relate to, like, oh my goodness, she reminds me of me. I can relate to this, you know, this Black woman with this head. She's not wearing bangs all the time, like I tried to do to cover it up. I had a family who would call me Miss Piggy, you know, as a kid. So things like that. Now I love Miss Piggy, so I just kind of took it and flipped it. But yeah, so it's like when you kind of think like, where does this stem from? It does stem from childhood a lot of times.
I believe so. I think too, and we're speaking, well, not just, you know, Black women and women, but for men in general. And one of the things, a big thing that I'm so grateful, and I think as a community of African Americans and possibly Africans as well, that we have transcended in a sense from the color coding, because we had these issues with darker skin, you know, and I was one of the darker ones of my family. And actually my twin sister was very light and I was dark. So I was not necessarily ostracized, but I didn't get to play the same games that everyone else did, you know, and I was called African booty scratcher.
I remember that burn, that Joan. And remember the Joan in the back of the day? Like, where did that even come from?
I don't know. But I remember as a child, one specific incident was, and gosh, I was probably maybe about fifth grade, and we were having a sleepover, and it was friends, and I remember one of the girls saying, well, let the dark ones sit in the back. The dark ones have to sit in the back.
Ooh.
And then all the light-skinned girls were together, and then me, and it was his other sister, and I remember she was calling me dark-skinned. And I'm thinking, like, we're about the same complexion, you know. But I can remember just like, oh wow, I think that was the first time that I was made aware of my complexion or being darker. And I don't necessarily feel if that may have been, you know, like one of the issues as to why I had self-esteem issues, but I think it's a conglomerate of things, and learning how to, you know, appreciate who we are, love who we are, and finding that beauty in us no matter what, you know. And I think it's such a layered topic, you know, because not only do we have what we feel that others have defined us as, and in the sense that we've taken on those definitions, the negative aspects of it, but it's created our viewpoint of the world in a sense, and vice versa. The viewpoint of what the world views us in a sense generates our ideal of who we are, you know, and this ideal of self-love or what that means, and it's not just physical too, you know. So I think that's important for us during this discussion to discuss how our internal thoughts and how the internal beliefs that we have for ourselves create our outer images, you know.
Yeah, for sure. We were also talking about this earlier, and I think I saw something somewhere online, but it was just talking about the negative thoughts, and like you said, it's not always physical. Sometimes it could be like where I am in life, you know, I should be further, or you know, anything.
Yeah.
But when you have those negative thoughts, even more so when you speak the words into the universe, how it leaves this impact on your cells, on your DNA, and it affects you. Like like inside out. So it's like we have to change that mindset so that you have a healthier mind, body, spirit, everything.
Right, everything. It's an overall,
Yes.
it's an overall health
Yes.
and holistic experience. And just as we, you know, if you truly understand the spiritual aspects of us as human beings, you know, and understanding how we are connected spiritually, you know, internally, and what that does, that we have so much more power than we make it known, and we have so much more power than sometimes we can understand. You know, we create diseases for ourselves. You know, we create this vision of life based on how we view it. You know, if I feel that I don't, you know, I don't fit in, you know, or, you know, I'm the ugly duckling, or, you know, I'm out here feeling a different value for myself.
You create that reality.
Yeah, the reality is created. My worth shows in my friendships, in my relationships, in my career. You know, it shows, you know, in all the influences that impact us. You know, self-love and loving ourselves can either be something that can create a beautiful journey for you, you know, or it's something that can be trying and difficult, you know, to overcome. So I think this discussion is very important, because as we start the new year, for us to work on and understanding certain ways to improve how we love each other, how we love ourselves, that type of language that starts first with us, you know, influencing ourselves, regenerating, rejuvenating who we are internally and what that is. You know, it's interesting sometimes that a lot of people don't even know who they are, and it's not an age thing. It does not matter how old you are.
So true.
And it doesn't even matter, you know, your race, because we're so much, you know, that we, in a sense, buy into these roles and buy into certain attitudes based off of what we've been taught, based off of what we believe other people see and other people perceive, and it's not necessarily the reality, you know. And that the journey of self-discovery and exploring who we are and coming to that almost the top of the mountain, I think that's where a lot of us are and where we want to be. And let's claim that this year we're at the top of the mountain, where we can kind of look back over some of those personal issues and personal trials that we've experienced, to open our lives up to receive the love that we can give ourselves, but also be able to reflect that outwardly and be able to feel that, you know. I've lost a lot of people in my life, you know. I've given up a lot of people in my life that were not in my best interest.
That's self-love.
Yeah, that's very powerful.
Boundaries of self-love.
Right, setting those boundaries to know what is yours and what is good for you and what's not. Mm-hmm. But also during the process, I think sometimes of this exploration, we have to understand that sometimes we might make mistakes. I've let people go that maybe I should have, you know, or didn't take opportunities because I felt that maybe I wasn't worthy, or maybe I didn't value myself at the time, you know, and felt that I needed to learn more or experience more. I didn't have the expertise that I have. Now in hindsight, I look like, girl, are you serious? You know, you let that go because of my self-belief of what I felt at the time, that I wasn't worthy of something that I know now I was. Yeah. But I prevented myself from achieving those things or receiving that. You know, I'm not there now, you know, but
how many other people are? Like, exactly. How many of you are there right now? And like, what steps can they take? I mean, I don't know, some things you have to learn on your own, but it's like, how do you know in the moment to take a pause, to think things through? Like, how do we change our mindsets overall to like hey, I think it's gradual, and it's a daily practice. I was talking with Leah yesterday, the other day, and it was the same thing. She was like, she said something about I forgot the word that she used. What word did you use? And I was like, no, you will. You know, she was like, if. It was like basically
no,
if. It was if,
right.
And I was like, no, when. She's like, yes, you're right, you're right. So it was basically just like it's a daily practice, like changing one thing instead of like, oh, I hope, oh, I will. Or
it's daily affirmations. It's claiming. It's
yes.
claiming that, and then once you understand that you claim it, you manifest it.
Yes.
You know, it's understanding that whatever you give out to the universe is what you get back. If I say I'm not worthy, the universe gonna say, okay, you're not worthy. If I say I'm worthy of abundant health, abundant life, abundant, access, and abundant love, abundant friendship, I'm worthy of that. I'm open to that. This is what I deserve. And the universe says, okay, yes. Sometimes we complicate those things for whatever reason, past history, past trauma, childhood memories, childhood grief, things that we have not been able to work away, and sometimes therapy may not be able to get it away. I know we've had this conversation before. So it's certain aspects in our lives that we need to know and get to know who we are. It's a post that I wanted to post, and I didn't get to it yet, where it's basically, have you looked yourself in the mirror? When you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see? And really face that individually with yourself. Ask that question. When you see yourself in the mirror, what do you see?
And that's powerful. Words. Oh, I was trying to, before I lost my thought, when she was talking earlier about how you speak about yourself. Words are powerful. Words are magic. They're like spells. So when you're repeating something repeatedly into the universe, you're repeatedly.
And it occurs.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you remember that movie was The Secret? Gosh, I know that was probably 2000, maybe 10 or something, years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a like a documentary kind of. It's called The Secret. It was actually.
Oh, yeah, everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, but I remember a particular part within the movie where this woman, she looked in the mirror and she kind of, in a sense, had body morphism. So she saw herself as being ugly, as being fat. It's a famous actress, hearing impaired. I can't think of her name right now. But she saw herself and viewed herself as being fat and ugly. And when she looked in the mirror, that's what she saw. And the basic, in a sense, it created this self-hatred, and within that self-hatred, it was just like all this stuff that was creating and building within the cells of who she was, even though everyone else who saw her didn't see that, but that's how she looked at herself. That's how she viewed herself.
Yeah.
And eventually throughout the film, it showed the progression of her belief in learning how to love herself, and I remember from that movie, and I remember doing an exercise with myself, because with my past, I've had issues of somewhat similar, based off of past abuse and past sexual abuse. You develop an angst, because, and especially being in a position where you don't necessarily know how to fight or know how to defend yourself or know how to arm yourself, in a sense, from childhood to whatever. And I'm talking about childhood abuse, childhood sexual abuse, domestic abuse, not knowing how to arm yourself. In a sense, you develop these psychosis. I call it a psychosis. You develop a psychosis because it's not a reality of what is, but it's a reality of how you, in a sense, accept that certain traumas or certain things have happened, a coping mechanism, but I remember doing an exercise for me, and I don't necessarily know if it came from this movie or where it came from, where I took stickers, heart-shaped stickers, and other things, and I would write with a marker hearts or different parts of my body that I felt or that I experienced trauma, And so for that created a different identity for me, and it helped me heal certain boo-boos, that I had, actually in my book, it's a Brown Silk Loose on the memoir, is a poem called Eden, and in that it's me describing some of the pain or like physical marks of abuse that you develop, and though what those marks were, and you don't, it's like if you've been in an accident, or you've developed, or you have a handicap, or you have something that has been looked upon as being something less, how we can transform that and change that into something that's beautiful, into a journey, an experience, and not have that as a defining mark of who we are, or defining, I guess, what do you call it, badge for the abuser.
Oh yeah, giving them the power.
Yeah,
we're going to take that power from them.
Yeah,
every time.
Yeah,
Every time.
So,
Reclaim.
right.
Yeah. So in this discussion, we know what we face, what our challenges are, but how do we change that mindset day by day so when I'm looking at myself and I don't see this fat off?
Oh my gosh. We connect on so many levels, because I'm like, girl, are you serious?
You see me doing this?
Right. No way.
But yeah, it's like, so how do we stop it? How do we stop that?
Well, kiss the boo-boo, number one. Your arm is not fat. I know. I'm saying this because I'm there too, and I think it's a work in progress. It's loving every aspect of who we are.
And I don't see anyone else. I don't have any, like, when I see other people, everyone is beautiful, every size, color, shape, hair. It's like everyone else is beautiful.
Like you said before,
everywhere.
We can be our worst critics.
Yes.
We can be our worst critics. Because I know, for me, a lot of times, and then I think too, it's with how we've been raised. And specifically sometimes with women and with Black women, we have to be raise the bar so much. Not only do we have to be smart and intelligent with a couple degrees underneath our belts, but we have to look, a certain way. We have all these different roles of what it is that we should be able to do efficiently, effectively, and play this sort of role in this part. And the reality is, no, it's not possible. It's not feasible. And number one, it's so unhealthy. It's so unhealthy to who we are and what more it is that we have to offer. I think that's a way of getting out of this box, in a sense, that we've created for ourselves. Number one, I create my own definitions of who I am. I create my own name of who I am. I will not be defined. I will not be, told that I can or cannot do, certain things, and be a part. I have to be this and be that. Well, I can be this and be that if that's what I want, but then understanding that if we go into this other box of this definition of all these things that we've been said that we should be, that we should look, that we should, we have to be sexy. We have to be, almost in a sense, a different degree, of sexy, at different ages and stages within our lives, even in different aspects of our relationships. The whole stereotype of, your wife has to be this way, but then you have, the other side, or possibly side person as that way,
No, like real talk. Real
talk, right? Yes. Right. You all know what I'm saying. Yes. I'm not gonna use the verbiage of it, but so and so all of these things that we have been said, and I think it's important to work on exercises where we strip away those things, strip away everything that is not ours, You know, whatever that belief is, why you feel your arm fat? Where'd it come from? You know, why did somebody say something to you? You know, just try to dissect it.
Right.
You know, dissect it. You know, we get a certain age too. We with the chicken. You know, and you hear women say, I'm gonna do this on because that part I don't care. When you hear women at certain age, you got the flat.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and so freaking wet. You know,
I remember when I was a teenager, I would hear the terms like muffin top. I'm like, what does that even mean?
Right.
I never even knew, you know, those things, but people say these and then all of a sudden you become subconscious of them and you're like, well, wait a minute, is that a muffin? You know, I don't know. But yes, you're right. It's like, let's start like we were talking earlier with our words. Let's start with our words. Let's be kind, you know. Hey, I thank God that I have arms. that I have arms and I can use. You know, let's start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
It was some positivity, but so yeah, let's work on that inner confidence.
Right.
Working on ourselves, loving ourselves, accepting, and it's okay to want to improve. Okay, so let's say that I felt I needed to work on something. Okay, that's fine.
Improve it.
Improve it.
Right. You're not gonna go out and get a whole new arm.
No.
That's the thing. You know, you're not gonna go and get a whole new arm.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
Work on yourself. That's God or whatever you believe in. You were given this body, this life. You know, you want to continuously improve, continuously better yourself.
And two, let's clarify and come to an understanding that all of us have certain issues and certain things, you know, that we feel about ourselves that are not, you know, perfected or whatever, however we define it, you know. So it's like, okay, and that makes us, I think when we have this conversation and discuss that, then you understand that I am no different from you and you are no different from me, you know. So, and that's anybody and everybody that we see, any form of human life. It is not one human being out here saying, oh, I got it going on, I'm this and that. You know, we see if they are
really, if they really think
if they really are. So a lot of times if they're professing that, you know, they're trying to hide something else, some other insecurities, you know, but we see it every day, you know, the unfortunately the ones that we've lost due to suicide or for whatever reason, you know, and it crosses over in each branch of life, you know, in each hierarchy or whatever we consider. It's not just affecting the poor, it's affecting the wealthy. It's not just affecting the black, it's affecting the white. It's not just women, it's men. You know, we have all these things within us based on what we have been taught and what we've been conditioned to believe as to how we should act and how we need to perform. And not just women, it's men too.
No, I was just thinking about quite a few men. And people are always shocked, like, oh my, like, I'm just thinking of several men right now. I mean, from Robin Williams on down, it's just like people are just shocked, like, oh my goodness, we thought they were so happy. The young brother just recently, it's just like, you know, shook. Like, what was wrong? What happened? But that's, again, goes back, you know, you have to be kind, not to yourself, but to others. You never know what someone's struggling with.
Right. You never know. And that's I think too, we need to have a conversation on what those barriers are. You know, what is it that we've been taught? You know, for men, they've been taught in a sense they have to be the breadwinner, they have to be the provider.
Strong.
You know,
word
they have
manly.
to be strong.
You know?
No tears, no crying, no, you know, not showing any part of weakness. And for us, it's in a sense like we can cry, we can, you know, in a sense, you know, because in some dynamics and some demographics, the role has switched and changed, you know. So for me and in my household, Black women have been the main, you know, breadwinners. You know, I had a single mother, you know, and who worked between 2 and 3 jobs to care for her children, you know, in a sense. And so I didn't necessarily see a man being the provider or the breadwinner. What I saw was my mom, you know, and which gave me a different definition of what that means, where it was difficult and has been difficult in a sense for me to relinquish some of control, you know, in my relationships or relinquish control to a man, because I'm used to
having to take that Yeah.
Right, and doing it right, so
That's going to be part 2.
Yeah,
love relationship. Yes.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have that conversation.
Yes, but you're right though.
Yeah. But two, and I think on the other side of it is when men have been taught to not cry, to not show weakness or show that they need help, since what it does, it leaves an open gap to where women don't necessarily know, or we don't have the right communication on how to respond.
I don't know, and I know we're getting on this, but I also noticed that speaking on that they won't open up, they won't communicate, because I guess that's feelings. They don't want to share those feelings, but it's like
and how to be perceived.
Yes, exactly. Like how will she look at me if I say it's like, I'm begging you to open up.
I can help you.
Exactly. Like, help me help you.
Right. And as empaths, we feel it. We know something.
I know. Yes.
Something is different in something.
I can't wait to explore that.
I know. So you all leave comments as to, and if you want to be a part of the discussion too, how we can do that. We're thinking on different ways of adding more discussion, either joining in virtually or we click in onto the chat. We need some moderators too, so we can get going with that. But other ways, I think too. Let's think of some solutions on how we can love ourselves better. Starting now with this year, how do we love ourselves better? What do we do?
I mean, it starts with, like I said, waking up in the morning with your affirmations. You look in that mirror. Leah was talking about that. You go to that mirror, and whatever you think, oh, look, that beautiful skin on that forehead. You change one thing every day at least. If you can change more, great. But if you can start with one thing, positive reinforcement, and don't just say it, but believe it, take it in, breathe it, manifest it.
Right.
Turn that into your new reality.
Right.
Of how you see yourself, how you view yourself, and how you feel about yourself.
Right. And that love language, what does it sound like? I'm beautiful. Yes. I'm strong. I am courageous. I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I can achieve anything that I put my mind to. I'm an achiever. I'm an overachiever. I'm skilled. I'm an expert in what I do. I have a voice. Some of us don't realize that we have a voice, that we can actually speak, and and it's fine if nobody's listening, but the fact that I can speak, I can voice my opinion, and things that I say are valid,
right?
So. And
if you hear people or feel people pushing back because they see this newfound confidence, ignore that. Boundaries. I remember, I don't even know if he's a friend of mine too. I don't know if he knows to this day that I know that he said this about me. He was like, she walks like her, don't think. But we're going to have a guest on at the end of this month who I was in a club. It was called the Girls Club. It was for colored women. Well, that was what they called it back in the day. But anyway, we went to pageants. We did cotillions, oratory contests. Anyway, they taught me how to curtsy, how to walk. Yeah. So I walked with confidence, and I had that certain confidence because that's what I was taught. So when he was trying to, like, I guess maybe he was trying to say I was conceited or whatnot, but not at all. I was trying to walk the way I was taught, because that made me feel good to stand up with great posture and walk. So my point was, do that, what Mantra stated, and live in that. Don't let anybody knock it down, bring you down, knock your crown.
Right.
Keep it on and keep going.
And also, we have choices. You have choices. You have a choice, and you can switch up today and switch up tomorrow and switch back up, again on the next day. So we have choices. Understand that, this walk, this physical walk, also is influenced by our spiritual walk. It's influenced by all the gifts and the blessings and the talents that we have been born and birthed with, so we have choices. You can switch up, you can change. You don't have to do something because you feel that it's expected of you to do, and not be so hard on ourselves. I think a lot of times, as for loving ourselves, it's understanding that it's not perfection. It doesn't, there is no definition of perfection. You know, it really isn't. There's no
It's an
definition,
illusion.
right, of perfection. So it does not have to be a certain way. You know, you can let the house go a couple days, you know, without without cleaning, you know, without tiring yourself out. You know, that's a lesson specifically for me, is not trying to do everything all the time. You know, my if I could do everything on all the time the way that I need to do it, which is taking care of every aspect of business, which is every business that I have, you know, and also taking care of home and house and the family and the dog and, you know, babies, grandbabies, checking on everybody, you know, all that stuff, you know, and then trying to get some sleep. It don't
24
work.
hours in one day.
Right. It
always work.
doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't
doesn't.
work, you know. So taking time to breathe, taking time to relax.
Set your boundaries.
Right.
Normalize saying no if you need to,
Right.
when you need to.
Right.
To
And
whomever you need to.
defining what love is of yourself for you.
Mhm.
You know, defining that and writing down what your language is for you. You know, write it on whatever you feel is that going to mean something to you. You know, I remember years and years ago I did affirmations. It was this pretty pastel pink paper, and I wrote, you know, my love song to myself. You know, my own love story, what I wanted for me. You know, what I wanted to achieve, what I wanted to overcome, and what I felt of myself in the future, of who I was and how I love myself and how I was going to love myself even more, you know, and wrote that on a piece of paper. And I took this candle I had, was like a love candle. I can't remember, maybe like jasmine and rose oil or something, and burned and did the whole sealing of the wax
That's awesome.
on it, you know, and I placed it on my altar, and where it sat for many, many years until the paper just grew so thin and just you can't even really read, you know, or make out what it is or what it says. So create a ritual for yourself, you know, and those rituals could include things of putting on the altar, certain oils, blessing oil, bath, you know, spiritual baths, massages, you know, that other part of that self-care regimen, you know, how we care for our physical bodies and, you know, washing away, soothing away some of the ills, you know, the hurts, the pain, taking extra time to pamper that, you know, and then once you're able to pamper those things in you, then being open to share and pamper that with someone else,
Yeah,
you know.
that's right, because you have to start within before you can truly love somebody else.
Right. And for that person, in a sense, to love you, because if you don't know what makes, you know, what gives you that, you know, that creates that love within you, or don't know what makes you feel good, what makes you, then how could somebody else know it? So you have to find that language. How could somebody speak the love language to you if you don't even know how to speak it to yourself? You know, so.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah. We are who we are, and blessed to be that, you know, divinely so. We are created, you know, from wonders. You know, we are created from the imaginable and unimaginable. And it's all how we see ourselves, how we are able to see that magic that is within each and every one of us, you know, that makes us all great. And that we are, you know.
That we are.
That we are. So right.
Good.
And we'll continue this discussion. You know, leave your thoughts in the chat and leave comments and
Let us know what you're working on this year, what you're going to be doing to show yourself some self-love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And next week we have.
Oh, I'm excited. So next Tuesday, and we're going to start a little bit later next Tuesday, 4:30. Working to her schedule. We have Dr. Dee Granger coming. She is a family medical therapist. She's a is it called doula? Doula. She owns But First You, which is a fitness center. She does spin. She just got a sauna treatment. I mean, she's in Delta. She's an author. She's an all-around awesome woman. So next Tuesday, live on YouTube. Click subscribe, follow us, and then we'll have an exciting talk with her.
Yes. And too, guys, since we're new and starting out, which is it's a great advantage for all of us because we're learning, we're going through this journey, but we're collecting our team of divine people who are connected to this show and connected to what we do. So please share, subscribe, like, comment, help us grow more into what it is that we need to be for this community to flourish, in all aspects and in everything. So
yep. So you can subscribe to YouTube. It's Tuesday Table Talks on YouTube. Follow us all on Instagram. We have Mantra Lotus. We have the Loose Women Sanctuary. We have Love and Light Leah, Love and Light Cuisine, Tiggy Taste, Tiggy Pink Production. So we'll include all of our ads so that you can follow us.
Normally on the descriptions of the video, it has,
it does have those.
Yeah, for ways for you to follow us. But do it, stay in contact, and help us, help you guys and vice versa, so we can grow, and especially this year, which we're growing, we're doing it anyway.
We have awesome guests lined up. I'm really excited.
Right, me too. I'm so proud of us.
Yes.
I am so proud. This is my self-love.
Everybody loving us.
I am so proud.
Okay, so we're going to talk about our upcoming events. So I know, every Friday night we have open mic night hosted by
this
Mantra.
Friday, yeah.
Starting at 7. Is this till 10
p.m.
now?
to 11.
So it's still to 11. All right, lucky you. Not many places are open until 11 in St. Louis.
We
So
doing it.
get on out here.
Right.
And then Mantra, you have something coming up on the 14th.
On the 14th, yeah. Actually, before that, my birthday is on the 10th. So next Tuesday, y'all gotta come in because
hats and stuff.
we're gonna be doing it, right? So, but yes, on the 14th, Gen Goddesses NFT introduction, art show / exhibit. That's going to be at the Marcel, which is through the Kransberg. So that is Saturday the 14th from I think 5 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Where is that located? You said called the Marcel?
It's called the Marcel.
Okay.
It's Samuel Drive. I don't
actually
know the address right now. So we'll look out for that. And I'll be posting and working on all that stuff this week. So yeah, it's very exciting. And that program, this project it's about bringing the attention and acknowledging the 90% wealth gap between African American women and the rest of the world. So closing that gap, with us, and it's specifically teaching us how to monetize our businesses and create other skills, learning about cryptocurrency and other aspects.
I have no idea what that really
right,
is.
NFTs, and so this is
so
the
that's
NFT
exciting.
project.
Yeah,
so woo,
yes.
Right, I'm loving myself 2023. Okay, so
also coming up this month, January 2023, we're kicking off Self-Care Sunday. So the 22nd of January at 10 a.m., we're going to kick it off with an intro to Qigong.
Yes.
So if you watch Brother Kelly, Baba Kelly was on a few weeks ago, talked about that. So review that video. And then I'll be doing an intro class. So follow on Tiggy Pink, Love and Light Leah, Love and Light Cuisine, excuse me, for the link to purchase your tickets to that. And then following Qigong, we'll be having brunch at Love and Light Cuisine. So
yes,
that will be great. Delicioso. And then so many things in February. Oh my God, I get it. So there's going to be karaoke starting. We're going to have an East Indian night. We're going to have, for February Self-Care Sunday, we're going to have a grown and sexy self-love. So 21 and up. Can't wait to tell you more about that. Oh, and there are some special Mardi Gras specials here. Also for at Love and Light Cuisine. A lot coming up. So be sure to follow us.
Yes.
For events and information.
Nice.
So
I'm
excited.
so excited. Oh God. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we will see you guys next Tuesday with Dr. Granger. Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye.